Chapter 9. It's 5 a.m. when my alarm clock goes off, Eloise grumbling in her undead state as she rolls over in her bed and returns to snoring. Fortunately, we've shared a room since we started at boarding school together, and I've become quite adept at sleeping through almost anything. My hand fumbles for the off switch, my brain in a hungover pain from the lack of sleep, rather than alcohol, after a fitful night of imaginary conversations with Bastian, Nicholas, Inga and Carl, which I suspect has something to do with Carl's lie about Nicholas being out of town, when we don't know that for a fact. But I also understand why he said what he did, and why he would want to protect his brother, especially so close to the Olympic trials. It's going to take a great deal of effort to gather myself together, to force myself out of bed, groggy, hot from the heating being on all night, and the bruises from yesterday morning's collision now making their full presence known. Every muscle is stiff and sore. But I'm also excited and eager to get to the coffee shop. I reset the alarm for Eloise and slowly, painfully get myself dressed, all the while having a Christmassy sense of anticipation on account of today being Emilio's long-awaited special day. I already start to feel better once I'm out in the fresh air and the muscles begin to warm up as I walk through the snow and through the ski resort. Even though it's dark, the snow reflects a lightness back to the sky, giving it a luminescent blue glow, a wispy cloud or two reflecting it back onto the ground. No need for a torch. It's easily bright enough to see where I'm going, yet it still feels like the middle of the night, everything loud in the quiet emptiness. Even the Snow Mountain Cafe looks to be sleeping as I step down from the pavement and cross the road towards its inky black windows. It feels strange for it to be empty. No glow from the log fire, or hustle and bustle from tourists as they shout at each other across the room, hearing muffled by woolly hats and matching earmuffs or ski bands. "All right, Maddie," whispers Nicholas as I'm opening up the door, catching me off guard as I crash into the glass. It seems he's as excited as I am about Emilio's long-awaited delivery. "Geez," I say, my heart now racing, confused as to why I didn't hear him approaching, quickly realising that he snuck up on me on purpose. "You nearly gave me a heart attack." Nicholas reaches for the keys. "Here," he says, "let me..." And I can tell that he's feeling a bit guilty for his schoolboy prank. "Can't believe I'm here before Emilio," he says. "He's been going on about this for weeks." I quickly busy myself with the cafe lights and machines, switching each one on in turn as Nicholas prepares the fire and makes us both a coffee. "You look rough," he says. I take a sip of the hot liquid, the warmth reviving me from the inside out. "I feel it," I say. "Any news on Inga?" Nicholas stares at his cup guiltily. "Seriously," he says, "I swear she has eyes everywhere, but I'm not following." "Coffee," he says. "Inga has me on this strict diet for the trials. I'm only allowed black coffee and only 1 cup a day." I can't help but crack up, having just seen him add copious spoonfuls of cream and sugar and chocolate sprinkles to his cup. But also because this news means that Carl didn't lie to Bastian after all. Nicholas really was with Inga. He really does have an alibi, and now he can focus on his trials without being harassed by Bastian. "Don't worry," I say, trying to control my snorts. "Your secret is safe with me." "Now that's a welcome sight," says Emilio, closing the door behind him and kicking the snow from his boots. He hangs up his jacket out back, and soon his rear end is wiggling in front of the fire as he rubs his hands together to get warm. A wide grin on his face as he bounces back and forth on his tiptoes. Nicholas hands him a mug of coffee. "Ooh, lovely," he says. "Just what the doctor ordered." There's not much to do whilst we wait, other than prepare ourselves for what we know will be a busy day of training and observation as Emilio unpacks his latest acquisitions. "How's training going anyway?" I asked Nicholas. "Inga got you slaving away, I expect." So, says Nicholas, in a manner unlike his usual upbeat self, and I sense that he's putting a brave face on things. "I mean, she's left me a detailed training plan. It's just, while I wish she was here to coach me through my mistakes and help me optimise my performance, competition is fierce at this level, and I really need all the gains I can get at this point." And it's not for the first time today that I can literally sense my heart failing to beat, almost spilling my coffee in the process. You mean you haven't seen her? I say. Nicholas takes a swig of coffee and shakes his head. I'm hesitant to ask him, but I've got no choice. I don't suppose you've by any chance seen Bastian then? Bastian? Says Nicholas. Why would I need to see Bastian? Emilio changes position very slightly so he can warm up the next section of his torso, his face showing the same level of trepidation that I'm feeling. You don't know, do you? I ask. About William? Nicholas looks from Emilio's face to mine, clearly no idea what we're on about. William? I say. The lifty? He was shot in the neck yesterday morning. Bastian thinks you did it. Me? Says Nicholas. Why would I shoot anyone? I don't even know William. Why on earth would Bastian think it was me? Here, says Emilio, freeing up space for Nicholas by the fire and encouraging him to come closer to feel its full effect. Well, you know what Bastian's like, and just for the record, none of us thinks you did it, and we're doing what we can to find out who the shooter really was. Maddie and Eloise are great detectives, and I'm sure they'll get to the bottom of things, but in the meantime, it's probably best you keep it out of Bastian's way. You need to be focused on your trials, not sat in some stupid cell waiting. Yeah, says Eloise, arriving through the coffee door. We're already on it, and Bastian has no proof that the shooter was you, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to lay low for a while. Nicholas backs up a little closer to the fireplace, one hand reaching for the top of the chair. Lay low, he says, but I'm innocent. I'm afraid, I say, that it might be worse than that. Last night at the hospital, Bastian said he had proof that you did it, but Carl told him you were off, away from Valdezera, that you were training with Inga. If Bastian finds out that Carl lied, you could both end up in prison.